Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For me it's welcome back because I skipped doing this last week, and that was by accident. Actually, I didn't have anything. I had it planned, and too much me trying to make an outside life outside of my regular routine, stressing over that, and the whole concept just escaped my mind. So enough of the side blabber. If you're new here, well, thanks for checking it out. I'm not sure what we got to really dive into per se, but to explain, excuse me, I'm trying to do that not in the mic, to explain sort of the gist of the thing, and I realize you could just call it a channel instead of naming it a name at this point, and we are many episodes in, but Potato Land is, which arm is correct, if you'd like. Otherwise, my channel suffices just fine, doesn't it? It's a bit of a vlog, bit of a show. I'm trying to make it entertaining, so it's really just me talking to me at this point, though I have been receiving a few more views. Oh, that's what I would like to start out with, is maybe my subconscious wants to evade the algorithm. It's just a guess. I don't know. Let me move my little mirror out of my way so I'm not looking at myself. Oh, so vain. And as far as I mean, I don't know, need I say more? Escaping the algorithm, just kind of any little bit of success, and I know where I'm headed with this. Any little bit of success, and I seem to run away. I've gotten so, over the last 10 plus years of not being in a serious relationship, or for the most part just running around by myself for a little while now, I've gotten used to scurrying upon any sort of commitment issue, question. So yeah, it could be my subconscious at play. I don't want to get too philosophical at the beginning of this thing, but I remember what I was getting at. The gist of the program here is something like, we don't talk about anything, we don't get anywhere, but sometimes I feel I'll throw something in that might be something like conversation you'll have at the water cooler in the office, because I don't know how to make it any more better or entertaining, so I talk about hot topics if I can. Okay, so where do we begin in terms of running away from success? No, I actually have a note written down about this, but I'm trying not to look at them, because why write notes when you took a week off? That should mean almost 14 days of pent up, I don't know, undisclosed jibber jabber that I should have all stored in my brain, right? But I remember it had something to do with, scurrying, sort of a vibe. I am going to cheat and look at the note, even though if I try pretty hard, I can probably remember it. Let's see. I'm going to have to look. Okay, but we did a bit of a silent pause. I really don't want to look, but here it goes. Bringing the program down a whole notch by having notes. I should have a giant scroll every week that I roll out in case I find myself boring, run into a dead wall. But I believe we might have covered the topic anyway, so maybe that's why it's not filed super clearly in my brain. Here we go. Yes. how am I doing is how you're doing, which is pretty medium right now. And I don't know how messed up I am in the head. I would love to talk about swearing after this, so I'm reminding myself. But yeah, I think it's just the same thing we already discussed. Let's move on to swearing. Why not? Okay. If you want me to give myself an update, this is somewhat of a side note, and don't necessarily watch this part. Skip forward 5 seconds. But I'm in between doing really well on this part of life that I'm trying to achieve success in. I'm doing really well, and then last week, Monday, would that be last week? Yeah, I had a coming back down to earth, and so I wanted to really bring it back to normal, which most people will do in one night by, I'm gonna disclose, can't say the same word twice, word of the day. What I mean by that here with this sentence, I'm going to disclose what I mean by that here with this sentence, but most people will just jump on stage again and try and wash all of the patheticness off of them. Not the case here. I still haven't gone up and tried to regain some of my glory, and yet here I am. I don't know, some of it is still me feeling the itch of something going well in his life. Let's see what happens. I just filed my taxes. I'm feeling good. Actually, that's not 100% true, because there's many bills in the future. And I sort of did want to dive into that. What it means to have bills. I mean, sheesh, but everybody talks about that. How do I keep this entertaining and talk about swearing? I just noticed that YouTube is cracking down, and I mean, I saw one channel from one person I sort of admire. A lot of drama going on in the comedy community I'm not excited to talk about, but one of my more admirable female, I don't really necessarily watch her podcast, but when there's great guests, I certainly will. Annie Lederman, it's so dicey just bringing up random names, but she said something about on her YouTube channel, specifically the episode with Doug Stanhope, about YouTube cracking down on swearing. So I believe her. I believe anything she says. But yeah, do I really believe anything she says? Just ruined my own joke there. So I will be trying to just keep this light and cute and somewhat PG-13, unless the occasion calls for it. Okay, what else do we talk about? Making any progress? Yeah, that was just in case you wanted to start your own blibberty blabber. I often find myself in these waves. The hardest part of this, doing your own, let's say, podcast show, vlog thing, is I find myself in these waves of, am I really worth being here doing this? But it's an online journal, and if I turn 65 or 75 or 85 and I'm bedridden, then yeah, I can always kind of keep up to date to where I was, go back in time and, randomly check a video. Where I'm getting at there. So anyway, I just heard a click on my door, which means that my room, my studio, is too silent, and the bathroom is too quiet as well. But another reason why probably I haven't done last week's, and I'm not just piling on excuses here, but in all reality, trying to get used to somebody being right on the other door that you have no idea who it is, it's a challenge in itself. Okay, so I'm going to go to the notes, and then we're going to consider wrapping it up. I don't mind if this is short. We're just sort of jumping back on the wagon, right? 10 minutes, 5 minutes if you have it. Let's see what I got going on. I know a little bit about what I wanted to talk about. Some of it being, things like the philosophy of freaking no calls in sports on important games and whatnot. Teams gathering momentum. You saw it in the Super Bowl. I don't really want to chat about something that happened more than 2 weeks ago, but a little dicey call there at the end of the game, and some people want to believe that the refs should keep it exciting, and I believe they do that most of the time. I believe that refs do that most of the time. But to call or not to call in some moments, and my deepest, it's quite a gamble what's going on with the refs in my eyes. I don't think there's a major conspiracy happening anymore. But I do believe that it's possible, and it's more likely a scenario where you have sort of refs going back and forth with the players in the game, and also whatever peer pressure they might have in terms of them getting to call an important play incorrectly, and then that gives them sort of with their peers or something. It gives them a little bit of clout because they can get away with it. I know I'm sure they get in trouble. There are some great refs, but and I'm sure they move them around, and only the best get to be in the high profile games and what. But anyway, it's somewhere in between some crazy conspiracy theory and probably just what is human interaction. If if I if I'm allowed to be boring. And what else? Let's look at my notes and then we'll get out of here. Okay. Just a kind of side note, and I mean it. I don't think I have anything left here, but good for me for not having to check in on those things. There's another outdated note from around about New Year's, which I'll bring up next year if we're still doing this thing. That is. But the side note being, let me not look at the notes again. You can kind of follow my eyes if you wish. But I remember it's that the times be a changing a little bit right now, and we had somebody break into our mailbox in my apartment building. So big city topic here. So least important. We're leaving on a low note, but where it counts, I suppose, is maybe your front porch. I mean, what I'm getting at is all this gig economy stuff has moved in, and certain people are probably getting tipped off to when important documents show up at, e.g., your tax documents. I don't necessarily have to have a full grasp of the human language, do I? But and then they'll break in at the times when these things are on their way to your place, or when they are sure they've arrived. Which is crazy that I have to rely on the internet, and most of us probably would rather rely on the internet and the paperless documents options than keep our identity safe, than to stick with the old-fashioned route, which is shredding your mail and whatever. Okay, guys, I told you it was going to be boring. All right, let's get out of here. It was great to be back. Happy to do the whole process over again. I'm getting nice and fast at it. Just sort of editing and flicking these things out within maybe an hour or two. So that's nice. Hot off the frying pan. Okay. Cheerios. Have a great one. Have a normal one. But then, maybe it'd be a little bit better than mine, right? And see you next week.